feel the need to edit aspects of our lives out of our work. So we touch on issues that other bands wouldn't want to go near, like spirituality as much as politics, social issues. And to us it feels very natural.
We did that flower arrangement.
We did. We talked about it. Maybe it's partly because of where we came from. Because in Ireland,
your origins, your background.
In Ireland, there is no within the world of sort of conversation, which is an art form in Ireland. It's like, you know, you go to any Dublin bar and you sit and a stranger will strike up a conversation, and it'll range from the politics of the Middle East to the, you know, classic writers to whatever else. It's just that is the way the Irish people are, and I think that's definitely a feature of our work.
Now that you mentioned the Middle East, for example, doesn't it discourage you or disinherit you when you all this poverty, corruption all over the world, you know, politicians with their own agenda, personal agenda, private agenda, and not the collectiveness, you know, there's no allies in between all these people that take decision, all the decision makers. How much actually can you do when you see all this? Oh no, you've met with everybody.
Be sure of this.
Tell me.
The age that we are in right now,
okay,
is the age of information, information technology, and the internet makes it impossible for people to have a private life. That's a bad thing, but it makes it impossible for the kind of secrets that used to pervade the body politic. I think it's over. I think you see them in the streets of North Africa. Those people are out. They don't just desire to be heard. They want to hear what's being done in their name by their government. And that is as true in, you know, Washington, it's as true in Mexico, it's as true in Ireland. It's like the pyramid is upside down. It's no longer the powerful few at the top. And it's strange that it started in
power is given to people.
The pyramid got turned upside down.
Yeah.
The power,
Tunis, Egypt, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the new age, and those politicians that still want to hide, that have their private agendas, as you described them, their time is over. It's just a matter of time. Transparency is the syringe, the inoculation for corruption. And in a lot of countries, corruption is not just making a lot of bad people wealthy. It's killing children. It kills more people in Africa than HIV/AIDS, malaria, TB put together. So the inoculation is transparency. But daylight, that is what the people are looking for. The daylight of democracy.
Democracy.
Freedom.
Okay, so do you all agree the same concept? How do you decide your next course due to, you know? Because when Foro speaks, I mean, when you go and meet with people, you are speaking for the band, you're speaking for the group, and for your audience, for all your fans, which believe in you, you know?
Well, I mean, I'll answer it first to say the band are very supportive of the One campaign and read and they financially support all my work. But that does not mean that they agree with everything I do in my work. And there's people, certainly I think of age, certainly did not want me to meet with, certainly people married did not like me meeting with. I think God was being very supportive in general. But, you know, it's embarrassing. It's so uncool, this work. You know, it's very uncool and it can be excruciating to see, you know, your singer meeting with the devil. But sometimes that's what it takes. With a politician, I'm never as embarrassed. Well, I've kind of two bosses. Nelson Mandela, and then his great compatriot, Desmond Tutu, the Arch. He's actually my boss.
Bishop Tutu is amazing, but the one that springs to mind is John Moon.
Have you ever felt used by someone, by a politician, considering the impact you have?
I don't know what it's I don't do that.
El poder de hacer cada vez es más grande. Next, continuamos.
For example?
Mugabe from Zimbabwe. I felt ill after meeting him.
But you wanted to meet him because you thought maybe you could do something?
It's some years ago when I was invited to be at a meeting of African leaders.
Okay, and who wouldn't you like Bono to meet, for example?
I think it's not really about that. I suppose you always, any feelings of or misgivings are, I just hope that someone isn't going to turn this around and make his work even more difficult than it is. So it's not personal, but it is difficult to watch sometimes. But I absolutely accept the argument that sometimes you have to sit and have breakfast with the devil to achieve what you want to achieve. It is a, it's a tough argument, and there are people who really find it a difficult thing to run. But he's the man. That's his mission.
Bueno.
Next to
Sí.
starving children is always going to be an
Right.
uncomfortable juxtaposition. I know that. They know that. With a politician, I'm never as embarrassed, no matter how bad they are. My embarrassment is it's just the inequality that's in the world. Compared to that, I can take the uncookness.
Are you a democratic band?
As Bruce Springsteen said, democracy is all right for places like Iraq. In a band, that sounds so difficult. No, we're a democracy.
You are.
Yeah.
Well, I was asking you this because I really want to know. I mean, I once interviewed a very well-known, popular Spanish singer. Do you know any Spanish singers? Joaquin Sabina, have you heard of him? Well, he once told me that politics is a very important issue, so important that you couldn't leave it only in hands of politicians. It's a good one, right?
He was a wise man.
He is.
You
So
shouldn't
you want
be
to
too cynical about it because actually it's what puts food in people's bellies, and it's very important. And I just wish they looked a little bit more like the people they represent. They look like a different breed. And sometimes you think, that's why I encourage our audience to get involved.
Now that I was asking you that, I was wondering who has touched you or moved you the most of all the religious leaders, spiritual leaders that you've met, politicians.
Adam?
I'm really not sure, actually.
Could be a musician.
Sorry, you just got me in a bad moment. I mean, I always like Van Morrison's music, but
He is like, okay, maybe he's maybe the greatest soul singer on earth for Irish people, and I think for lots of people around the world. Van Morrison is
I don't know if there's any one individual. I mean, you meet people all the time in your life or that you run into who inspire you. Lots of them, all the time.
All the time. Do you follow? Who would you say?
Well, I've kind of two bosses. Nelson Mandela got us involved in a lot of the work that I do. Starting out with the anti-apartheid movement when we were his great compatriot, Desmond Tutu, the Arch, he's actually my boss. And he refers to himself as my boss.
Really?
Yeah, well, he's sort of, that's who we work for, especially when we work for the cause of Africa. It's he is and he's so funny. He laughs. When he laughs, you can see God, inside him. You can just feel it. He's got great humility. Humor, humility. It's kind of, and he's in our show, which is so fun. Every night, you'll see, he has a special role in our show. He's retired now, but I still get emails from him telling me things I have to do.
No,
really? Yes. And if I say I can't do that, he says, then you won't go to heaven.
Does it worry you not going to heaven?
No, I know him. He's going to be the doorman.
Yeah.
Him and Gabriel.
What about you? Do you have any?
Bishop Tutu is amazing, but the one that springs to mind is John Hume, who's an Irish politician who pretty much single-handedly kicked off the peace process and did it in such a way that he probably knew that it was going to offer up the centre stage of Northern Irish politics to the extremists, so that his party, which was all about trying to find a middle ground, would end up less important and probably have less power. So it was a great sacrifice he made personally and politically, but it ended up being successful, and he got the Nobel Prize for that. So very deservedly, but a very humble man, and he was totally dedicated to peace for Northern Ireland.
Have you ever felt used by someone, by a politician, considering the impact you have?
All the time.
And what do you do with that? I mean,
it's just about how much. How much progress you
give
make.
and how
much progress you make. Nobody minds being used if it moves the issue forward. Like, for instance, we campaigned for debt cancellation. You'd probably be like, here goes Bob, debt cancellation. There was a movement of us, we marched all over the world, and we got canceled $100 billion worth of debt. $100 billion of debt to poorest countries. That money, for instance, in Africa, has put over 40 million children in school in Africa in the last 8 years. So it really works.
It's what you get and what you lose.
We fought
the concession.
It was in not so long ago, 2002, 2003. We would go to hospitals in parts of the world where all the doctors, all the nurses could do was tell people they had HIV/AIDS. They couldn't treat them. HIV/AIDS is not a death sentence in Mexico. It's not a death sentence in Ireland, but it is in lots of places. And people said, you'll never be able to get these expensive drugs to the poorest of the poor. Campaign and YouTube fads got out on the streets, and now there's over 4 million people alive because of that campaign. This is incredible. I mean, we're just a part of it, but we're a proud part of it. Even if, a small part of it, we're a proud part of it.
The population.
It's worth what it takes.
Just for the context, that's the population of our country, more or less.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a suburb of
Wow.
Mexico City. Yeah.
Wow, it is. You're a suburb in Mexico.
Oh, Mexico, so is it great to live there? Do you live in Mexico City?
Mexico City.
It's so exciting.
It is. It's very
You just don't want to
vibrant.
go to sleep because it's like the molecules of the air vibrate differently. We spent a lot of time in Mexico, in the country, on the last tour. In between shows was coming.
You had a
We
good
just fell
time.
in love.
It was when, like 2007 or 6? 2006. Sorry. Yes, please.
When the flu virus was first detected,